You had actually Wyatt Pfeiffer came in at D end, so we could move Ike into D tackle. You even had at the targeting foul where you had A.J. Allen come in to replace Deshaun Dexter. So when you start doing those things alone, I mean, we're down probably 4 or 5 starters from what 7 months ago when we played them. But to me, that's the strength of our football team right now, is the next man that's coming in is playing very strong football for us, and maybe a notch up from the person that they replaced. So that's been the real success for our team if you really go back and study it when the season's over.
Can you talk about the progress of Tyvis Smith and where he's come from since he arrived on campus, and or maybe it's just he's been behind a pretty good running back you had. Can you talk about his growth?
I'm glad you asked about Tyvis, because Tyvis is a great story, because Tyvis came in here with no expectations from coaches or himself, or maybe from himself more than anybody else. But his background is such that everything was against him, being that nobody would expect anything from him from where his background was. And he comes in here and grows into the player that he is, and the student that he is, because he's a good student too now. And that's when I said the expectation in the classroom was probably, just as average as the expectations on the field. And so we took a gamble on him to a point, but he did everything. And the guy that he replaced is, to me, the guy that made him, because David took Tyvis under his wing the first year in here, and Tyvis started learning from David. And when you're around David all the time, David was working all the time in the weight room, in the classroom. He wasn't, a social butterfly. He was here for a purpose, and Tyvis saw that. And when he followed that or started hanging out and seeing that every day of the week, that became customary to him. And now that's what you see from Tyvis. And thus, 3 years later, you see this. So this just didn't show up. This has been being developed for the last 3 years, and now you see the talent that he is. He's already had the size, but now you see all his work coming to life for him. And when you have sweat equity in anything, you're a lot harder to. It takes a lot to fail, okay? Because he's got a lot into it himself, and that's why I think you see him play the way he does, with the passion he plays with, because he's got a lot of sweat equity in himself and into our football team. So, yeah, Tyvis will be. You'll all write about him a year from now, okay? But he's worth writing about now.
Coach, do you anticipate Robert Rachi being able to play Saturday?
Right now, the center, Robert, I don't know if Robert will play or not. Right today, as I sit here today at the podium, he's questionable. I always wait for the final doctor's report, which comes later today, after they go see Dr. Clark. But right now, I'd say he's questionable, very questionable.
Any chance that Deshaun Dexter's targeting hit could get overturned? You send that film in, and
I'll appeal it. I'll appeal it later on today, and I don't hold out a lot of hope for those things. Either they take too long to make a decision, or they make too quick a decision, or so either way we lose. So I'm not gonna create a plan to fit Deshaun Dexter into it. I'm gonna create a plan that makes our defense go, and A.J. Allen's got to fit into that plan, and then Deshaun will be available. If